Let's get you the very latest from the United States. And this is the United States and the UK have carried out strikes against the Iran-based Houthis in Yemen. The United States and the British militaries bombed more than a dozen sites used by the Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen on Thursday in a massive retaliatory strike using warship and submarine-launched missiles and fighter jets. The military targets included logistical hubs, air defense systems and weapon storage, as well as launching locations. The British military released footage showing several of its Typhoon jets taking off from an airbase in Cyprus as they headed to conduct the strikes against the targets. With the White House putting out a statement saying that the targeted strikes is a clear message. The White House statement says that the United States and our partners will not tolerate attacks on our personnel, will not hesitate to direct further measures in order to protect our people, and won't hesitate to protect free flow of international commerce, is the message that was put out. And the defense action that was taken follows this extensive diplomatic campaign and Houthi rebels escalating their attacks against commercial vessels. These targets, they've targeted strikes, are a clear message that the United States and our partners will not tolerate attacks on our personnel or allow hostile acts to imperil the freedom of navigation in one of the world's most critical commercial routes. I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and the free flow of international commerce as necessary, is the statement that was put out by the White House. Now we have Rohit Sharma joining us from Washington. Rohit, take us through, this major statement that's come out by the United States. This is despite warnings that were put out by the US after that meeting that they had with 11 other countries, so 12 countries in all, where they had warned Houthis of consequences if they didn't stop their attacks. And then this has come about just after that attack that the Houthis conducted on Tuesday. That was, absolutely the last straw.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. Essentially, the White House was under a lot of pressure to respond to these attacks. This was the 27th such attack since November 19th. And on Wednesday, if I remember correctly, John Kirby had come out and said that he'd warned the Houthis to stop these attacks. But I think they were left with no choice. We were told on a background call that, this is something that has been, planning for a while. They had put these plans in place for a while, but the administration was holding on to attacking the Houthis in Yemen. But then to this morning's attack, this Thursday morning's attack, left them no choice to do this and plan this and go ahead and sort of send a message to Houthis who sort of have been attacking almost anything and everything, any commercial vehicle, a vessel rather, in the Red Sea. And the reason is because these attacks have had a lot of impact on international trade. We all know how much important Red Sea is. And Biden administration essentially has sort of caved into the fact that, until Houthis are attacked, this won't stop. And there was a lot of pressure on Biden administration not to escalate this. But this actually is seen as escalation at some point, because Houthis are, in fact, backed by the Iranians. So we'll have to wait and watch and see. But the statements put out both by the Defense Department and by the White House said they would not hesitate to take more action. So we'll have to wait and watch what Houthis do next. But again, Biden administration had no choice, we were told, but to carry out these strikes in Yemen.
Right. Thank you so much, Rohit, for joining us with all those details from Washington. Moving on, my colleague Vishnu Som joins us on the phone line. Vishnu, yesterday External Affairs Minister Jaishankar and US Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke and discussed the United States and India's shared concerns when it comes to reckless attacks in the southern Red Sea. And here we can see that now finally the United States there, putting a stop and finally going about, taking those retaliatory measures.
Well, I think what has taken place now was almost inevitable given the number of attacks which have been conducted by Houthi rebels who operate in parts of western and occupy the territory of western Yemen. It was almost inevitable that such strikes would take place. What were the attacks which the Houthis were conducting? Well, more than 24 attacks on shipping in the area. The Red Sea is one of the most important waterways in the world. It's a critical channel of commerce and trade. There is a very large military presence over there, led by the United States and its allies. In the last, about 48 hours back, there was perhaps the most sophisticated attack carried out by the Houthis. using cruise missiles, using drones, and using anti-ship ballistic missiles, apparently all of Iranian origin. These were intercepted by fighter jets being operated off the U.S. aircraft carrier, U.S. warships, and also the destroyer HMS Diamond of the Royal Navy. But the attacks themselves were cold, sophisticated, and after that it just seemed a matter of time that the Allies would retaliate, which is what they've done. In a statement, the United States has said, in light of the illegal, dangerous, and destabilizing Iranian-backed Houthi attacks against U.S. and international vessels, the militaries of the United States and the United Kingdom, with support from Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands, conducted strikes against military targets in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. Now, specifically, it was the Royal Air Force which had a very large role in these operations. Typhoon fighter aircraft flying over fairly long distances, accompanied by air-to-air refueling tankers, used laser-guided munition to target areas in the west of Yemen, in Houthi-held areas which were launch pads, areas where drones and missiles and perhaps cruise missiles and perhaps ballistic missiles as well had been launched. The United Kingdom making it clear that there was every effort to ensure that collateral damage was minimized. But this is the first series of strikes conducted by the Allies. What happens next, we'll have to wait and see. Whether there's going to be any further escalation or the situation sort of eases somewhat. But given the rhetoric that we have seen from the Houthis, who say that they will not allow any ship associated with Israel or the United States to ply through the Red Sea, it is quite possible that the next couple of days could be fraught.
Right, Vishnu, this is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak, also saying that the strikes are limited, necessary and proportionate action has been taken in self-defense. But the Houthi Deputy Foreign Minister has warned the United States and the United Kingdom that they'll pay a heavy price for this blatant aggression. Thank you so much, Vishnu, for joining us with those details.